everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today I have my ranking for all 8 Halo games, and I'm going to start this off at the very start by saying I will not be covering Halo Wars 1 and 2 or Spartan Assault in this video, as I'm only counting the main series games, and those are the only games that I've played. So Halo Wars 1 and 2 and Spartan Assault may get their own video at some point if I play them, but in terms of this video, it's just going to be the main 8 games. So, starting off at number 8 is Halo 5. Now, this is probably a surprise to very few people. I'm not the biggest fan of this game. Of course, I liked it gameplay-wise, much like the rest of the 343 era, but in terms of the story, it just kind of fell a bit flat for me. Like, I really wish we'd learned a bit more about why Cortana turned evil, like a bit more of an explanation to it, and that we learned a bit more about the backstory of Fireteam Osiris. Now, of course, we know one of the members, Edward Buck, who appeared in Halo 3 ODST, which I will get to later in the video, but as for right now, he is a Spartan. I've got to say, playing as Spartan Buck was definitely really cool. And the rest of the Fireteam, like, I liked Locke, I liked Vale, and I liked Tanaka. I just wish we knew a bit more about them. So that'd be my main complaint about this game, is the fact that the story just wasn't really fleshed out enough for me. Of course, we got to see Captain Lasky again from Halo 4, which was a big plus for me, because if you guys watch my videos on Halo 4 and 5, you'll know that I really like Captain Lasky a lot. So, yeah, that's where I'd put Halo 5 dead last. Sorry, Halo 5 fans, it's just not for me. Next up on the list, we have number 7, and for this spot, I'm going to give that well and truly to the last game's predecessor, Halo 4. And well, I'd have to say it's much the same as Halo 5 in terms of my grievances with it. Like, the story wasn't too fleshed out. Of course, we spent most of the game on the Forerunner planet Requiem, which did provide a lot of backstory on the Forerunners and their technology, such as the Promethean Knights and the new light weapons, which I thought were really cool. But again, in terms of story, there wasn't much to it. Like, we didn't hear much of anything about, you know, what happened between Halo 3 and Halo 4, like what had happened to the Arbiter. Thankfully, we got some of that in Halo 5, which I didn't mention just then, but still, that was a bit of a plus for me in that game. But I really wish we'd learned a bit more about what happened in the 3-year gap, I think, between Halo, or however many years it was, between Halo 3 and Halo 4. I really wish we'd learned a bit more about that gap. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed in that. Now, number 6 on this list is going to go to the most recent game in the franchise, Halo Infinite. And the reason this goes above the other 2 games of the 343 era is mainly the gameplay. Like, of course, this was a massive refresh, the whole franchise being a bit of a open world game, with Zeta Halo being fully explorable, kind of, and capturable, because as you know, there was forward operating bases and marine groups that needed freeing from the Banished. And again, that's something I've liked a bit of expansion on as well. Now, I know their story was apparently discussed a lot in Halo Wars 2, but unfortunately, I didn't know that. So that one is on me, but I really wish they'd give you a bit of a, hey, in case you didn't play this, here's what happened, and here's why the Banished exist, and here's what happens to the Infinity. By the way, it went kaboom. Wow. So Captain Lasky is dead. Yay, love that. Ugh. But honestly, Halo Infinite definitely was a big plus for me gameplay-wise, because of course there was the whole, you could explore a hell of a lot of the ring, and there was no loading screens between missions. It was just, you go to the location and the mission starts as you get there. I really liked that, and I really liked the grapple shots, because that was obviously a much quicker way to get around this landscape that a normal vehicle couldn't. So I was very happy to see that included, and I hope it sticks around for the next game. So that's where I put Halo Infinite as well, in number 6. Now, as for number 5, I'm going to put Halo 3 ODST. Because, obviously, you didn't play as a Spartan through this game, which was quite disappointing, but playing as an ODST, or rather 6 of them, was really cool. It was very cool to see other parts of the UNSC army, rather than just the Spartans. So, of course, we had the 6 members of the squad: Buck, Rookie, Mickey, Mick, Dutch, Sarah Palmer, and I can't remember the other person's name. I'm so sorry for those of you who are a fan of that character. I've forgotten most of their names. It's been a long while since I played that game, but I really did enjoy it for the fact that it was set on Earth in the 26th century. We did get to see what Earth was like properly. Of course, we did go there for a little while in Halo 2, which was obviously really cool. But seeing it fully in Halo 3 ODST was just really fun. And of course, playing as a Spartan, there was a bit more jeopardy to it because you're not as basically invincible as a Spartan. You're quite at risk of getting killed. And I did a few times. But the main thing for me, the story was rock solid. Now that we're in the Bungie era, the story I have little to no problems with. The only thing that I found a bit weird was there was no elites. I didn't encounter a single one through the game. Can somebody please tell me why this was the case? Because I genuinely noticed at the end I hadn't encountered one elite through the whole game. Like, what was going on there? Please let me know if you know. But honestly, other than that, this game was really damn fun. Now, as for number 4 on this list, that's going to go to the sequel to this game, Halo 3. Now, as we know, this one was the big finale. This was meant to be the end of Halo, in terms of the timeline. Of course, Halo Reach came out after this, but this was the final game in the timeline until 343 came along, and it was ended pretty damn amazingly. Of course, we got to play as both the Master Chief and the Arbiter, who were at this point working together, which was just great. Well, you got to play as them both if you were in multiplayer in the story. Honestly, it was really cool to play as them both. I loved both of them. They obviously played pretty similarly, but it was still fun to just play as both of them working together. Of course, Sergeant Johnson and Commander Keyes met their tragic ends in this game, which just broke me completely. Like, I was so sad to see those two die, because Sergeant Johnson, probably one of my favourite characters from the series, so see him killed so easily just hurt like hell. And same goes for Commander Keyes. That one just, ouch! But yeah, that's where I'd place Halo 3 at number 4, so we're almost to the end, so let's get on to the last couple. Now, for the final 3. In number 3, I have put the one that started it all, Halo Combat Evolved. And well, this one had to come in somewhere, didn't it? Of course, these last few slots are very tight. If you guys been watching my other videos on this series, you'll be able to tell which is going to be at the top. But Halo Combat Evolved comes in at number 3 for a few reasons. One, once again, the story is amazing. I love it. The Flood were terrifying. Genuinely, I hated them. They were so scary, I nearly pooed myself. Like, they were scary. And honestly, this is going to be very controversial. I wasn't a big fan of Master Chief's helmet design in this game. The visor for me seemed way too long going down. It seemed to go past his nose, which was just really weird to me. Like, I'm glad they cleaned it up in later games, but this Master Chief design seemed really weird to me. But of course, Captain Keyes' inclusion was an amazing addition. Really wish he'd survived it into more games, but, you know, it really set up how much of a threat the Flood were. And of course, the iconic moments of you looking up at the ring for the first time. Wow. I've seen it so many times on Facebook and other social medias, the memes about it, but seeing it myself, wow. It was phenomenal to see. Like, I loved seeing that so much. Halo Combat Evolved comes in at number 3 because it's a damn good game, but it's just not quite in the top 2 spots for me, for reasons I'll get into now, because coming in at number 2 is Halo 2. And well, I've got to be honest, they improved on the first game so much. The graphics looked a bit better, of course with it being a couple of years later, and they started to clean up Master Chief's design a little bit, which I did like, and the story, as I said, was absolutely rock solid, but they also included a gameplay feature which I adored. Dual wielding. That made so many enemies so much easier, namely the Flood, if you had the right weapon. But honestly, I really loved this game. I really wish the dual wielding went on a bit further through the series. Like, I wish it had stayed for a while, but I don't think it stayed after this game. I think it kind of stopped after this, which was really sad to see, because it was quite a fun mechanic. My only complaint is you couldn't dual wield assault rifles. Granted, that would have been overpowered as hell, but my god, it would have been fun. Like, who wouldn't have wanted to just rack a pair of assault rifles and just start blasting Covenant of Flood into oblivion? Because I know I would have. But yeah, that is my ranking of Halo 2, which comes in at number 2. And now for number 1. Now, of course, coming in at number 1, to absolutely nobody's surprise, is the one and only Halo Reach. Yeah, you guys knew this was coming a mile off, didn't you? You know, this game was just on another level for me, of course. It was the first game I played, and it really gave me a damn good impression of this franchise, oh my god. Of course, it was beautifully done. The settings of the game looked amazing. Reach looked phenomenal. New Alexandria as well was a highlight for me, to be honest. And Zerdok Ridge from Tip of the Spear, that looked really good as well. And obviously Noble Team were a bunch of phenomenal characters, who of course you tragically saw die one by one throughout the game, except Jun and Noble 6, because he definitely survived. I'm just putting my 2 pence on that. He survived, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm one of those. Sorry if you disagree, but no, to me, Noble 6 is still alive. He's in a cave, somewhere on Reach, he's fine. But as for the others, eesh, that was just painful, you know, seeing them all get killed one by one. You know, it was George who went first, who just broke me, and then Kat got shot at by a Covenant, very luckily. Well, an Elite, that was just very lucky. Ugh. And then, of course, you saw Carter die by sacrificing himself to clear a path for you and Emil from a Scarab, which was pretty cool. And then, not too long after, you saw Emil get killed. And if you look to your left as you get into the Mac cannon, you can actually see him. Ouch. Yeah, and then, of course, the last wolf, the lone wolf mission was just epic, you know. It was you versus the Covenant, because you were the only soldier left on Reach that was able to fight and wasn't dead. So, yeah, it was a pretty cool game. I absolutely adored it, you know. The way I described it in my Halo Reach thoughts was it was a beautiful tragedy, and frankly, I still maintain that opinion now. It was so beautifully done, but it was so tragic at the same time. But yeah, that is my ranking of all 8 of the main series Halo games. So please, like this video, subscribe to mine and Roxanne's channels. Her link is down in the description, my button is down there. Please click both of those, then the bell icons, to get both of our notifications. Comment as well, because why the heck not? And comment as well, because why the heck not, and let me know. Let me know what you thought of these games and what your order for the ranking is, in your opinion. Once you've done that too, please follow me on my social medias. They'll be down in the link tree in the description. Below that's going to be Roxanne's website, of course. And lastly, please do share this video with all of your friends so they can join the infinite loop of liking, subscribing, commenting, following, and sharing, and around and around and around that loop. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. And remember, Spartans don't die, they just go missing in action. Goodbye!